Well, I think we're live now.
Well, I think that your thought is correct. We are live.
I think we're live sooner than it says.
Could be in the chat on this page that we're on, bottom left. You have a message, a very special message from the people of the UK, which you may pass on to the people of Canada.
Oh wow! Megan gives birth to boy. Wow. Do we know about that over here in Canada yet? I don't know.
It's only just been announced in the UK, so it's very recent news. Harry himself made the announcement, which is against tradition, because normally there's a notice outside Buckingham Palace which says we are proud to announce that. But that's going to happen. But he got there first and announced that he and Meghan are now parents and they have a son.
Well, go ahead.
Whose name has not been decided yet.
Right. Well, I just posted it on my Facebook. So we'll see if people think I'm fake news or not.
No, this is the real thing. This is straight from the BBC, I'll have you know. And from Sky News. They're both telling the same stories. And Harry was so, as new fathers are, he was so amazed and well, just happy really, that he had to tell the world.
Yeah.
So congratulations from everyone in Devizes in Wiltshire.
There you go. And Kelly, I don't know if you see this or not, but he made a comment already.
Oh, right. I can't see any comments at all at the moment.
So it must be on a different page. Kelly, you're on the wrong page. To the Video Show Network, which I didn't post that link in the.
Right. Okay.
I could probably fix it while we're live, couldn't I?
You could do a bit of live botting, as it were. There's a lot of talk about bots in the show earlier, and people's likes and dislikes. Bots are impersonal, and Ros doesn't like first comment bots, which I can understand. Because you feel reticent to make a comment if a bot is going to seize on your words, but there are occasions for it.
Yeah, I did catch that earlier, and I get where she's coming from, but at the same time, like I know, like you have it set up for me on my community show. That hope you have a great show, David.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of cool. When I see that, I go, oh, whether you're there right then or not, I know you're paying attention.
Well, it means two things. I am paying attention. The second thing is that it means that I have set the bot up to actually redirect people from the live video hub to TBSN. Yeah. So it's a test of the bot. The bot is working, and then the message is genuinely from me. I'm not a bot. I will never be a bot. I am a name, not a number. Which show was that? Can you remember?
I'm a name, not a bot?
I'm a name, not a number.
Oh,
it was set in Cornwall.
I don't know.
All right. The Prisoner with Patrick McGowan.
Who's that?
Okay, there weren't too many of them made. He probably didn't leave the British Isles, but it is a well-known phrase. I am a name, not a number, because they were. Yep.
No, I was going to say I've heard the saying, but I don't know. I don't know who that is that you're referring to.
Well, just Google The Prisoner, and you'll find the information. Just to reiterate, for those who have not heard the news, Harry and Meghan now have a son born at 5:34 this morning. The baby was £7.11 and is doing very well. Mother and baby are doing well. Father is overjoyed, and the British population and the Commonwealth are joining in the celebrations.
Yeah,
possibly.
Nice. So, and what was the size of the baby?
£7.11.
Oh wow, that's good.
Right.
It's a healthy baby.
Yeah. He is 7th in line to the throne, so it's unlikely that he will ever become king. He'd have to, something bad would have to happen to 6 in front of him, but as they never fly together, that's unlikely. So a day for celebration. And people are coming in and out all the time. There seems to be...
They never fly together.
I don't think the first 2 or 3 in line ever fly together because of that particular reason.
So in case a tragedy occurs, they don't all go.
Correct.
Interesting.
Correct. Talking of which, did you see the footage of the plane crash yesterday in Russia, in Moscow?
No, I did not.
Right. Okay. We've got Sky Television in the UK, and they were talking about the crash, and we didn't know whether anybody had survived the crash or not. Basically, a plane took off from the airport, did a loop, caught fire. Somebody said it was hit by lightning. Nobody knows. And then it landed back at the airport, and then all the fuel on board caught fire. And Sky News played a video taken by somebody on the phone. And they're a bit previous in showing that, because at that stage it was thought there were no casualties and everybody got off the plane. In actual fact, they didn't all get off the plane. And I think it is the filter which checks out, we were talking about fake news earlier, which checks out whether a story should actually be shown, failed. Because you should, to my mind, you should never show graphic footage of a tragedy.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Stephen, I something interesting here.
Okay.
So I see you're not seeing any comments, right?
I'm not seeing any comments at all.
And yet on the Video Show Network page, Kelly has made 4 comments.
Hello, Kelly.
So, but I'm just wondering why it's not showing up.
I don't know.
There you go.
I could refresh, see if that fixes it.
Maybe.
Okay.
Sure.
Do you want me to refresh?
Hey, I got an idea.
Yeah?
Why don't you refresh?
I'll refresh. I'll be back in a moment, everybody.
Well, it's the funness of live video. Funness? Is funness a word? Funness. Welcome, everybody, to Broadcasting Your Community. Stephen, she'll be back. Because we're checking on some technical things. But congratulations to the royal family. Yes, Meghan and Harry with their new baby boy. I don't know who you're talking to because you're in the lobby. I can't hear you. So you could be saying whatever you want about me, and I have no idea. Stephen. There we go.
I'm
he
not
just came in there, folks, and his lips were moving, and I'm like, I can't hear you.
No. Right. Okay. Just to report then, I still can't see the comments, although I have come back with, if I can get this working. I can't get this working. Yes, I can.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I've come back with a little bit of color. There you are.
Yeah. Yeah, he's saying Iron Maiden, got it from the notification. Okay, 8th grandson for the Queen. So,
okay.
I don't know. It's weird.
Okay.
We're going to blame it on Facebook.
Well, it's. Oh, wait a minute. Having said that, I now have 5 comments, and just to prove that I can see the comments,
they just showed up.
Iron Maiden, got it from the notification. Okay, 8th grandson for the Queen, and you are live. Thank you, Kelly. That was in reverse order.
We just had to wait, I guess, all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's just working up.
There you go.
Yeah,
so let me ask you this. Do you see my camera angle? I
do, yeah.
Is that a good camera angle?
I can. Kelly, is that a good camera angle? He said, looking to the audience.
Here, I'm gonna put me in full screen. There.
Yeah.
I want to know. So, Hello and welcome. The weather for today.
Okay.
I'm experimenting with some things, but I think this is a good camera angle. I do.
Yeah, you're looking directly at the camera.
Yeah, when I look at the camera, which is it's a little higher up, so it's kind of coming down on me. But
Yep.
I've got this big screen now.
Okay.
And,
yeah, you've rearranged your office, haven't you?
I have. There's a lot going on, and yeah, there's a lot going on.
Oh, you're in the middle of rearranging it.
You're seeing the clean side of things. Yeah, I just this area, and then I've got, if I showed you, I've got stuff all over the place on the other side there from some live streams I did, and I just need to get some shelving done, and my green screen's over there and everything, and I like my natural stuff on the wall. Yeah. But yeah, okay.
Okay, we're good. And we have an audience. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
Facebook's woken up.
I was getting nervous there for a minute.
Yeah. That was, excuse me a moment. That was a 12-minute delay there. And I can't hear a word. And I don't know where my earpiece has gone. So if you could drop me into the lobby for a minute, I'll endeavor to find my earpiece. Hang on.
I'm dropping you. There, we've dropped them. We got rid of them. It's been a busy day already today, folks. 5 days live on Be Live in 5. Today was the first day for that at 10 o'clock Eastern all this week. There was Brigetti, myself, and Steven this morning. And then tomorrow will be myself and Steven and somebody else, maybe. Anyway, all this week, members of the Be Live community, some of us moderators and regular streamers will be talking. Today we talked about the power of live video and how powerful it really is. And for your business, you should be using it. And I don't like to say to people what you should do, but you should. Kelly, you should be in front of the camera. At some point, we got to get Kelly in front of the camera. I don't know if he'll ever do it. Duct tape? I don't know. Steven's looking for his ears. It seemed like a great idea at the time to get these wireless things. Are you ready to come back, sir? Give me a thumbs up. Okay.
Strangely, the left-hand side works better than the right. I don't know. I'm back anyway. And where's our audience gone?
I don't know.
I left. I don't know either. Okay. Okay. We're good.
For those of you watching in this community, I do want to give a shout out to Blue Water Border Fest. They're going to be part of the Tall Ships event coming up in August 9th to 11th. And they're going to be making some musical announcements tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern on social media. So keep an eye out, Blue Water Border Fest. I just got the confirmation. So, and I'm excited. But you got to wait till tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern for that.
Good.
So lots of exciting things happen. I was just talking about the 5 days live that we had this morning. That was a lot of fun.
It was. It's good when we all get together and share ideas. And the beautiful thing about the show was the involvement of everybody who was watching.
Yeah.
Including Kelly and Roz and Gospel and I think people I've not met before, which is always awesome.
Yeah. And I don't know why, but I don't get to connect with Brigetti as often as I'd like. I guess if I put more effort into that, I suppose I could. But we seem like opposite ends of the time frame or something. But
yeah.
So I really enjoy when the three of us get in there and Brigetti's involved, and she's a real passionate lady too. She gets really excited about the live streaming thing. So she certainly resonates when we get together.
Yeah,
It's
true.
interesting that we've been doing this for 3 years. It's like, well, I've been doing it longer than that, but at least with BeLive, right? It's interesting how even at this stage, and you made the comment, we're still pioneers in this. 3 years in.
Yep. Yeah, it's taken a long time to actually get mainstream adoption. And it's certainly in the UK, there are very few. I could name. Well, if you go into the Belivers group and you go into the stats, which are very useful, then you can see the number of people actually involved in there from the UK. And USA is number 1, Canada is number 2, and then we're way down. I think Australia is ahead of us as well. You know, interesting stats available from the 9,100 members of the Belivers group. That's going to be quite a party when it gets to 10,000.
Yeah, I would imagine they're going to do something special. BeLive's pretty. I mean, I haven't heard that, but I imagine they will. That's a pretty big deal, I would think. And
it sure is.
It's been a busy. It's been a busy year for BeLive, and well, maybe not as public, but behind the scenes, there's a lot going on. Right? So. I'm excited to see what becomes the next phase for BeLive. Yeah,
if you've got 5 minutes after this show, then I do have something to show you about, unless you've already tried it, of course.
Oh, hey, I'm always willing to listen to you. I learned a lot.
That's kind of you. That's kind of you.
I should I should listen to you the first time, because twice I didn't listen to you the first time, and then I ended up going, I should do that. So once was bots.
Yep.
I was like, I don't know, Stephen, like maybe I get it, but and then I went, and I forgot to do the bot today. It's been such a busy day. And then the second time was repurpose.io. I was like, I don't know. It's one of the many. I throw a lot of $20 bills out every month. It's one.
Yeah, I know they mount up. Yeah, they do mount up. Totally. The other thing that I'm getting involved in now with Fons Chamberlain, our friend Fons, is that we're involved in radio.
Yeah.
And we decided, I'll tell you the story. We decided that we were going to do a radio station, Fons and I, and we've had to change paths because it was called United World Radio, as David's quite correctly put there. And the United World Radio still exists, but the situation was that what we wanted to do was to play podcasts from live shows recorded on Facebook and to play independent music as well as mainstream music.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that we wanted to play mainstream music was a no-no. We discovered because of the licensing. In the UK, we've got performance rights and PPL, and you have to have a license to broadcast in the UK. Yeah. And that's about $300. And then you've got a license to broadcast in the US. That's another few $100. And then you've got a license to broadcast in Canada. That's another few $100. By the time you've added it all up, you're effectively paying thousands of dollars for something which is essentially starting off as a hobby. So we have now 2 radio stations.
Okay.
One of which is licensed to play music, and the music is paid for by the occasional advert. Now, Fons is running that, and that includes all the music that was on United World Radio, and it's fully licensed, and every so often an advert pops up, and that's how the licensing is taken care of. So Fons can play anything he wants live on the radio, which meant the podcast needed a home. So there is now a new radio station, and it's called the LVHR. Now, that name came about because of gospel, so thank you, gospel. And LVHR is Live Video Hub Radio, which was quite a mouthful. So we shortened it to the LVHR. And at the moment, as a radio station, we have one listener in the UK and one in Canada. Thank you, Kelly. And we're in testing mode. I'm uploading the podcasts at the moment. We've got about 12 different people involved. Bridgetti's just sent hers in, and we will be majority of the output will be podcasts, and that's going well. We're in test mode, and also Angelica's son Martin has put the word out to indie musicians in the UK. In fact, just before we came on air, and we're getting lots of people interested in sending us indie music. In addition to that, through live broadcasting, I have a friend called Joe Liedke, who is a music teacher, and he runs a weekly show called Indie Music Plus. And he's been running that show for 169 episodes. And he and his co-host, since the days of Blab, he started on Blab and then came from Blab. He's got a show that's produced professionally, and he's got to 169 episodes. And Joe, I spoke to last week and said, Joe, how do you fancy your shows being in a podcast? And he said, yes, please. And so we now have a back catalogue of Joe's shows, which are of independent musicians from the States. And those will be going out on Live Video Hub Radio, or the LVHR, very soon. So it's all
that's
going.
Fantastic. I kudos to you for doing the work on it, because I think you probably know I have a page called the Radio Show Network.
Yep.
And that kind of went coinciding with the Video Show Network, right? Yep. And I have the knowledge and whatnot to put into it, like even with Radionomy, I used to use that, and Live 365 and all that stuff. And I haven't put the time into it like you guys have, because I think it's a fantastic idea. And when I first started my community show, it used to be I interviewed musicians from all over the world.
Oh wow. Yeah,
and then it's changed and evolved. So I'll have to and I did that that was a good couple of years that the music scene was a part of the show. Like I'm talking Argentina and all over. So I'll have to go back through my contacts and see if I can get them in touch with you to add to that, because I think it's fantastic what you're doing. And I mean, and I do, going back to repurpose. I turn my shows into an MP3, so that it goes onto Spotify and everywhere else. Yeah, because not everybody has time to sit down and watch our handsome faces. So I do know some people that download it and then they take it on their drive to work or jog or whatever. So it's and it's another way of I know you're adding more things into it, but it's another way of repurposing too, right?
Oh, it is, yeah. It's definitely a way of repurposing, because we were talking about repurpose.io earlier. Is that does the MP3 for you, so you know legwork to do. Yeah. And basically, I'm asking people to upload to Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever cloud system they use, and then just send me a link. Yeah. I found a wonderful piece of software, which is free. It's from a software house called Free Software, and it can take MP3s from YouTube, not just your own videos, but any video.
Yeah, I have is that YTD?
Don't know. It's just called Free Software. I don't know. They could be similar. Could be the same.
Okay. I have something called YouTube Downloader, YouTube Video Downloader.
Yeah, it's probably the same people.
And there's a free version and a paid version. I do use the paid version, but yeah, you can download videos and then you can convert them into MP3s, right?
Right.
So Kelly's I think Kelly's fishing. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can again with Blue Water Border Fest. I'm not sure. Maybe I can again. What?
The radio Your radio station. Now, one of us is David frozen? Or is he thinking?
I'm thinking.
Fool me.
I fooled you and I didn't mean to. I could, but you never know. I might do that now.
Yeah, well, I'm going to carry on talking. And you can't hear me anyway. I can't hear you. David's playing statues. This is going to work well on the podcast. This will be good on the podcast with one of us talking.
So I don't know what he's saying. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
You see, you were there before us. You
I see what
the radio path.
Okay.
But it's very kind of you to keep in touch with us.
Yeah. No, I can tell you. Yeah. No, I'm going to be at Blue Water Border Fest all weekend. The Tall Ships, Artscape, and Blue Water Border Fest are all collaborating this year. And I will be at Blue Water Border Fest again. I'll be on the Tall Ships. I'll be on the sail-in for the Tall Ships. I'll be at Artscape all weekend. I'll be everywhere. And I will be the official MC for Blue Water Border Fest again, as well as I'll be behind the scenes with the camera going live, interviewing people like you have to wait tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern to find out.
Oh, you can't announce anything today.
No, I cannot.
There's an embargo.
I have it right here, but I have to wait till tomorrow 7 a.m. That's Blue Water Border Fest puts that out. But pardon me. But exciting announcements to come. And they're just announcing pieces of it. So tease, right? It'll be tomorrow, then likely again next week. And we may have some more things next Monday about Blue Water Border Fest to talk about. I'll put it that way.
All right. And you and I have a show tomorrow.
Yes. What are we talking about tomorrow?
I thought we might talk about conducting awesome interviews.
Oh,
which is your lead in to talk about your show at 3:30.
Yeah, there you go. Well, actually, I meant to mention it earlier, but Brigetti does her show, what's it called?
Writer's Corner.
Writer's Corner. Great name. Interviewing authors. And she's got authors booked all the way up into November. Good for her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's brilliant.
That's fantastic.
To have a guest list going that far forward.
Yeah. So you may want to watch, or you'll want to watch the replay of one of my guests today. His name is Stephen McKenna. And his grandfather was the 10th Chief of Justice for Canada. And he's written a book called Grace and Wisdom, and he's coming to Sarnia to talk about his book. And his grandfather, who was originally from Sarnia, lived here on Essex Street in Sarnia. So a great historical conversation and a book about it's going to be a good interview. He's the last one on the show. Sometimes I've always said the last person on the show is the one that has the most advantageous, because the first two, I try to keep everything on time. The last one, if we go longer, who cares?
That's true. That's true.
So always be the last guest on the show.
Well, the tradition is that if you're the last guest, you're the top billed star.
Yeah, right. Kind of like the concert, right?
Yeah.
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 You're the headliner.
Yeah. You're not a support act. You're the headliner.
That's
right. Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Blue Water Border Fest. The Tall Ships is going to be fantastic. It's Stephen, I wish you could be here for that, because it's just there's like
so do I.
It's like 8 or 10 tall ships coming to Sarnia, and they're going to be a big sail in, and I'll probably be on the Blue Nose for that. And I'm going to be very tired by the end of it all. The scheduling that we're working on, I'm like, wow, how are we going to do this? But it'll work out. Live stream challenge. That's the live stream challenge.
Well, it's the 6th of May. Just checking the calendar.
It is.
And it's 7 degrees in the UK, which is not good.
No.
Normally this time it would around about 13, 14.
Yeah, we're 18 degrees here today.
Oh, good. Thank you for that. But that's by way of telling you a story about yesterday, which was another cold day, Sunday. Today is actually a bank holiday in the UK. Nothing to do with the royal birth. It just happens to be a bank holiday. And I scheduled 5 days live to actually be on a bank holiday. So it wasn't good timing, but never mind. We're over that now. Yesterday, have you ever been on a scarecrow hunt?
On a what?
See, right, okay. There's a local village near to us called Urchfont, Urchfont, Urchfont. And every year they have what is called a scarecrow hunt or trail. And what happens is that they take a theme each year. This year's theme was the 80s. And everybody, well, about 60 people who are resident in the village create a scene using a scarecrow as the model, and each of the scarecrows is representing somebody. So you had R2D2. You see where I'm going with this? Or the A-Team. You had 50, 60 different scarecrows all scattered around the village. And the idea is that you've got a scorecard and you write down what they're looking for. It's either the artists or the film or whatever it happens to be. And you write down the number. Each scarecrow's got a number. And then at the end of it, you've got 60 answers, and you add your 60 answers in, and you draw out of a hat, and the person with the most correct answers receives a prize. But the idea is, of course, to actually popularise the village of Urchfont. And it's a fantastic day for families, and it takes place on Saturday, Sunday, final day, Saturday, Monday. And you can walk through the village it took us 2.5 hours to actually go around the entire route, which means that you're walking between 5 and 7 miles. So it's a great way to get some exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting. I'd love to learn how to put that together.
Well, if you Google Urchfont, Urchfont, scarecrow, then you'll find out all about it. I mean, basically, it's pick a theme, and then you build scenes to on that theme, and it's purely voluntary. It's the residents saying, "Okay, I'm willing to take part." Urchfont itself volunteers the whole village because there are certain ways through the village that just closed off. So people can't leave the house. Well, no, it's going too far. They can leave the houses, but they can't all drive out because some of the roads are closed.
I'm sorry, I'm listening, but I'm looking at some of the pictures here. I got to share this.
You've got to share it. It's worth a share. This is definitely worth a share. This is what we do in Wiltshire on a weekend, a bank holiday weekend, to actually popularise areas of Wiltshire. And this place is called Urchfont. It's a village about 10 miles away from where we live. And we went out yesterday on the scarecrow hunt. Now I'm just waiting for it to come up on the screen, and there you are. It's some people create a work of art.
That's Animal from the Muppets, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And this has been going on for quite a few years, and they've become very professional at it. And the idea is you've got to guess who it represents. Now, some of them are straight away you're going to get it, but some of them do take a bit of working out. Then you've got to tie the person that you see with the clue, and that's not always straightforward. And it's just a fantastic idea, and it's so well done.
Oh my goodness, Barbie!
There's in the centre of the village. There's refreshments, and there's a hog roast tent, which is professional chefs coming in and actually cooking. And by the time we got those, they'd actually sold out.
Oh, wow.
This event is so popular, not just in Wiltshire, but for miles around. People come to actually take part, bring the kids. It's a good day out for everybody. You've got two quizzes. One is for the adults, and then you've got another quiz which is just for the kids, which means that it is truly a family day out, and everybody just enjoys themselves.
So that looks like that's the village there.
That's the village. Yeah, that's the centre of the village.
They're creative.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. I wonder if we could get that to catch on in Sarnia.
You might. You never know. We said earlier that if you've got an idea, run with it. Worst you can do is it doesn't work. So go for it. Sarnia Scarecrow Trail. See, trips.
Well, we've got a lot of parks here, and we've got trails that go through the park. So I'm already seeing how this could be.
Yeah. Well, Kelly's taken with it. Kelly's on board.
A new game for Ribfest. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, what the magic? Obviously, there's scarecrows, but then they make up clues for each. So you've got to match the scarecrow with the clue and give your answer. And it can be the name of the film, the name of the actor. I mean, and because it was the 80s, it meant to come back for Nigel Mansell. Of course, it was Formula One racing driver who won the Formula One Grand Prix in the 80s.
Stephen, let's move on here. I got a question for you. I was watching. Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
No. I'm willing to learn, though.
So he's part of UFC fighting, and he's a comedian, but he does the Joe Rogan show on YouTube.
Okay.
And he's quite popular, controversial, all that sort of stuff. But he was talking today, and it made me think of you, and I'm like, I wonder if my friend Stephen Healey has an answer.
Fire.
Did the United States put a man on the moon? Did they do the landing?
Yes.
Yes.
Unequivocally.
Okay.
I'm totally convinced. Despite Capricorn 1, which was the film that said they never did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm convinced. Are you convinced?
Well, I'm not sure because Joe Rogan made a really good point, several points. Now, he was one that has always said, no, they didn't do it. And then he has since swayed his thinking to be more of, yes, they absolutely did. In spite of, and you can YouTube this if you haven't already, there's a lot of footage out there that does look fake, that looks like they got wires and blah, 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 all this. There's all kinds of it. One of the first points he makes is he says, like I don't understand rocketry and gravity and all the other T's. I'm not a scientist by any means. Yeah. So when I watch those videos, he said, I wonder if my brain is not trained to understand how things work on, say, the moon. Good point. The other thing he said was, as I'm watching all this stuff, he goes, I wanted to believe that they didn't. I'd already chosen in my brain before I started watching these things.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really good point. Here's the interesting point that he made that it's never even entered my mind. And I went, wow, never thunk of that.
Okay.
The footage could be fake. It doesn't mean that they didn't go to the moon. Because you could go to the moon and then come back, and he talked about way back when, cameras had film in it. You couldn't take that film through the airport because of the X-ray machines.
Yeah.
It would screw up the footage, and here's the other thing: they wanted to promote that they did go to the moon. So if they didn't actually have the footage, because it got, I mean, you're coming back to Earth from outer space. There's a lot going on. So they could have went to the moon, but they made the footage up to promote that they went to the moon. Does that make sense?
It sounds like going to a lot of trouble.
Well, I mean, if you wanted everybody to see that you were on the moon.
But I'm maybe, did they not actually do a broadcast from the moon? Or am I misremembering?
So maybe.
Always possible. No matter what we're talking about, it's always possible.
So
there was a broadcast. I don't know. We'll have to check that. It's a long time
ago.
One
small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, right?
Yeah. We all heard him say that.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. I've always sort of been. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. How do you say that? Theorist?
No,
but I think there are some things that happen that have been put out in the media that it's there's other powers going on. Whatever. I just don't. I mean, like Elvis is dead. I'm sorry to say, but like he's dead.
Well, he would be dead.
He probably would be dead anyway now, but
yeah.
And Michael Jackson's. I'm sorry, he's gone too.
Yeah.
And the real Paul McCartney died a long time ago.
Sorry, is that? No, he's still around. Thank you. No,
the real Paul McCartney. Have you never heard that story?
He's still around.
But have you know that story though, don't you? Paul is dead.
Possibly.
Yeah. It's a long time ago. It was the real Paul McCartney died in a car accident, and so Paul McCartney that we know today is a duplicate or an imposter. And on the album, is it Abbey Road where they're walking across the street?
Oh, yeah, that I've heard. Yes.
Yeah, and then there's I think like a Volkswagen in the background, and the license plate says it's either if 20. I think it says 28 if. Yeah. On the license plate, and that's supposed to represent that if the real Paul McCartney were still alive, he would have been 28 at the making and release of this album. Yes.
Okay. Which brings us back to the Birchfront Scarecrow Festival.
Curveball!
Which is real, which did take place Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We were fortunate to go on the Sunday. And I had to do this today is local round table put an event on in town, and last year it didn't take place. It's always done on first holiday Monday in May. So last year it didn't take place because of health and safety. I'd like to talk about that in a moment because we've got problems in the UK, and that health and safety are taking they are safety conscious, but sometimes they take all the fun out of the event and make it very difficult for people who are actually trying to put the event on to put it on and meet all the criteria that are set. And last year they didn't. This year it went ahead. So this morning, Angelica and I went out into town in 7-degree weather, and we enjoyed what was it? Oh, paella, which was freshly made by the round table. And it's just a celebration, really, of charity, I suppose, is the main beneficiary of the whole day. But again, the whole family go into town and take part in the May Day festivals, as they're known. Do you have health and safety for events in Sarnia? Does that raise problems at any point, or
do we have events promoting health and safety?
No. All our events are actually governed by health and safety, and people have actually got to meet and get a license to run the event.
Well, yeah. There's certain if you're running an event, there's certain criteria you have to meet. Yeah. Is that what you mean?
I'm just saying, our people fell foul of that and had to cancel last year's event. So I'm just very glad that this year they got it right. and everything went ahead without a hitch.
Okay.
But it's not as interesting as a Scarecrow Festival.
No, and I really got my wheels turning on that one. The events around here are, I mean, they're well organized and stuff, but they, all that stuff, permits and everything all falls into place.
Yeah.
Fencing companies come along, they look after,
right. Okay.
The stage people come along and they look after, everybody each looks after their own. And then I think the festival itself has to have certain things in place. I've never put anything on that large of a size where I had to worry about it, but I did have I got my mail today, and I went to my door, and I had ordered this. It's a router holder. So what it is, it's a plate.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, or a shelf that goes on top of a tripod.
Yeah.
So that I can put the router on that and then raise it up high.
Okay.
So it came to my door, snail mail. So I open up the door and there it is. And I look at it. I have a picture of it somewhere. And it says, it's been written on there. Mm-hmm. It says, "Great job at Sarnia Sings."
Oh, wow.
So my mail carrier was at the show Sarnia Sings, obviously. Yep. I don't know who it is.
Right.
And I just thought,
that's good stuff.
That just made my day. I was like, wow, they took the time to wrote down impact, right?
Impact, indeed. That's what we were talking about earlier.
I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah. So, but how to do a great interview tomorrow, right? That's what we'll be talking about.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Would you say there's different levels of preparedness for depending on who you're interviewing, or do you do the same for everybody?
We've got examples of this. Linda West.
Yeah,
She doesn't prepare for an interview.
Right.
She does no research. She has no questions in advance. She just turns up, switches the mic on, and goes for it.
Yeah.
And that works for her.
Yeah.
So I think that I when I'm interviewing somebody, I ask them for 3 questions. That's 3 questions that they have supplied, and hopefully 99 times out of 100 will know the answer to. So that when the interview starts, you use those 3 questions and things are underway, and they're on solid ground because they're talking about things that they actually know about.
Yeah.
Yourself, what do you do? Because you do a lot of
that. Like I've changed. I'm a wing it kind of guy. Like that's like I know what's on my show today. But I mean, I do research. Like the gentleman that I'm interviewing today about his book. Like I've Googled him. I've read, what the book's about. And then just a few little blurbs I'll have as a reference. And especially on a book, I haven't read the book, so, but I know what it's about and just a few blurbs, right? But I know the questions to ask. I can simply say, "So you've written this book, blah blah blah. So tell us about it."
That's the interview done.
Right? One question. There's the question, and then it really comes down to listening to them. You have to genuinely listen to them, and then you can pick up on that, and then ask a question. So, I mean, I get the background, of course, of the theme of what the interview is about.
Yeah,
I used to have a Google form that I would send to people, and I'd say, fill this out. And I found people were intimidated by that. So what I do now is I say it's just going to be casual. I'm just going to talk about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I will say to them, is there anything you want to make sure that we mention in the interview so I know to bring that up?
Yeah. Well,
my show on blah, blah, blah that day. So, okay, great.
Yeah. I mean, what we do know is that if you get people to tell their stories, then they will. If they're talking about themselves, then there's no problem at all.
Get them talking about their passion.
Yeah, and don't actually court controversy. If they've been caught up in something, then do you? talk about controversial things that have happened to them or not?
I hate to say depends, because that's kind of
right. No, that's
answer,
fair.
but it does depend. I mean, on what the controversy would be. But I don't know, what's your show about. Like, my show is a community show with positive vibes.
Right.
So why would I bring up any controversy that's been with that person, unless that's what they've sort of agreed to discuss?
Mm-hmm. If that was the reason for being there.
Right. If that's what we're talking. And today we got, so and so on the show, and because he got caught up in the Me Too moment, whatever. But other than that, I think you have to make it as, I mean, first of all, if you have them on your show and your show is positive, you have to keep it about that. If you're Alex Jones, then you might bring that up. But I think, it's like being on Jerry Springer or being on Ellen is two different experiences as far as the person being interviewed. Right. So keep it about what your show's about. But
keep it positive.
I avoid the negative.
Yeah. There's a place for it, but generally speaking, I would say that err on the side of being positive, because what you want is for people to enjoy the show.
Yeah, that's
the last thing you want is for your audience to be polarized on two sides of the argument and start fighting with each other, because that would lead to an online riot, really. And right. See,
he meant to spell Petrolia with an E.
I wouldn't have noticed, David. I wouldn't have noticed.
I know. I just like picking on Kelly. Petrolia, which is about 20 minutes from here, out in the rural areas. They do have a scarecrow festival. Like, they have them in October, like Thanksgiving time, and there's just scarecrows all over the place through the city.
Okay,
but it's not like what you guys have done here. So yes, we do have that, and that was the first thing I thought of. Actually, was Petrolia would be a good spot to do it. I will admit, though, when you drive to Petrolia, when that's happening, and you drive down, like, it's a short street, like it's a small little town, and you see these scarecrows, you're fooled. You think there's a real person sitting up in that tree over there, hanging from the sign or whatever, and you're like, whoa. Oh yeah, it's Scarecrow Festival time.
Right, okay. If I'm right in this, David's signal just went. When he went like that, he just disappeared. So I'm hoping that we're still live. Kelly, if you can confirm we're still live, and we'll wait for David to come back. This is live video, as you keep saying, and
Kelly,
every so often.
See me, Kelly, say yes.
It could be that's I'm not on there and David is, but I haven't dropped into the lobby or anything, so I'm going to assume here. David is back on. What time are we? David is back at 3:30 p.m. Eastern with his community show, so you've got that to look forward to. Myself and Dave will be back at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, talking about interviewing on live video. And this is 5 days live week, so there's a show every day this week at 10 a.m. Eastern, and we're joined by Brigetti and Tina and by Linda during the course.
We're just going to drop him down. And now I'm going to bring you back. Are you there, Stephen?
I did get dropped into the lobby. I still can't see you, David. I can't hear you.
Refresh. There you go. It's been a techie day. Bad techie day. He'll be back, I'm sure. Yes, we will be live again tomorrow talking about how to prepare for the interview. There we go. I think he's back.
Hello.
I was here the whole time. Kelly said he could see and hear both of us, so it was just at your end.
I couldn't see or hear you. The screen just went black.
No,
there you go.
Must have been something you said.
No, it's when you went like that.
Oh, it's my wave of my magic hands.
That's right. It's exactly what happened. But you're still here.
Oh boy.
Okay. So anything that I said in the last few minutes has not been heard, or has it? I don't know. I'll have to watch the replay.
I don't know. I wasn't listening to you.
Right. Anyway, when's your next watch party? I'll come and watch.
I've not done one.
I haven't either.
Oh, you haven't done one?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we should do a watch party with this then.
Okay.
We'll do it right after this.
That's not enough notice.
Oh.
I've got to. I know you've got a show at 3:30, and I've got to create a show for tomorrow. I'm just glad that Brigetti's doing the graphics, which is good.
That's great. And if you're ever stuck and she can't, let me know. I could have helped.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. Thank you, David.
Another resource. Yeah, but
yeah,
she did a fantastic job putting that together. I would have shown that today, but I don't see. We don't have that for tomorrow yet.
No. Because Brigetti had a show to do after this show, and they weren't sure who was going to be in the show. We've got a situation at the moment where,
pardon me,
best wishes to Cheryl, who's not so well at the moment. To Cheryl Piper.
Oh, okay.
Who's part of our team. Right. And to Lottie. And to Lottie Hearn, who's not so well at the moment. And to RJ, who can't make it this week. So we've lost 3 of the team this week.
Oh, well, I hope they get better.
I hope so too.
I'm around all week. I'm around all week, folks. Try the veal. I'm around all week if you get stuck and you need somebody to
Right, okay. Appreciate it.
I'll probably be watching anyway.
Yeah. Or you can jump on any of the shows.
Yeah. Well, things changed up for me. I was on Twitch last night, late last night. I haven't been on there for a while, and I've been setting some scheduling and making some planning. So I will be back this week. I'm also planning. I'll be back on Twitch very soon, and I'm also planning late night show, the show with David Burrows late night.
Okay.
So I haven't quite defined what that looks like yet. Probably Thursday nights at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. And I don't know, because I don't sell anything.
Yeah.
Do you think I should go live on my personal timeline, or do I stick to my page because that's where the brand is?
You got freedom with a new show to experiment. You can do both. Effectively, because you can do both. If you do it on your page, but tag yourself in the post. In other words, you don't you tag your name in the post, then you'll be on both with one lot of comments.
Yeah. I have to figure that out. I'll experiment.
I sometimes do that. No, basically it's just okay.
No, what?
What
are we going to say?
I'm just going to say, don't forget, we're just going to look at something for a couple of minutes after this show.
Oh, 10-4, wink, wink.
yeah. Official Secrets Act and all that.
A New York backdrop may be needed. Yeah. I'm no David Letterman, but and the other thing I thought of was maybe I'll do it in my group, because the way we were talking about groups, right?
Yeah.
Wink, wink. Stick around after the show, David. Speaking of which, we're just about there. Kelly, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Kelly.
And Kelly, if you got more ideas on what I should do for a late night show, I'm open. Let me know. And thanks to everybody who came by. Wow, that just flew by. When we talked everything from conspiracy theories to scarecrows.
We did. And my earpiece has fallen out for the last time today. Everybody's watched. Thank you. If you're watching the replay, thank you. David, thank you. And goodbye from Wiltshire.
Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.